and I'm speaking to you from Bern, the capital of Switzerland, of my darling Switzerland. And I'm in Bern for a conference on digital ID, of course, but also about digital sovereignty. And I'm not really talking. Of course, I'm intervening here and there, holding, asking a few questions and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, I cannot really get my message through, which is that to amend current democracies, you absolutely need to rewrite the constitutions. The people I'm here with are mostly private companies and the top managers of private companies which directly benefit from the contracts that they have with the state, with the nation, with the politicians indirectly. And of course, they're trying to find solutions. They're complaining about the fact that a lot of the personal data of people is with companies like Microsoft, with Google, the GAFAMs, basically. But what are they trying to suggest, okay? That this should happen in a different way. The fact of the matter is, most of the GAFAMs, they make 30 to 40% of their turnover with the money that they're making out of what? The data, the personal data they collect from all their users. They sell back this data to all the online shops or to Netflix, Disney, or what have you. And of course, they make huge amount of cash. Let's face it, for a private company with private shareholders, with a classic structure of the company, they are after profit. They want to have a good profit and loss account. And they will never resist the fact of collecting the data and making huge cash out of it. So on one hand, all the people which are here represent those companies, but they pretend to care about the larger number, the interest of the only sovereign, the people. This is it's a gross lie, because for any entrepreneur, any top manager of a given company, your aim at the end of the day is to protect your profits. And if you have captive revenues, regular streams, which are imposed literally by the state in the form of direct taxes, indirect taxes, or what have you, an entrepreneur or any given private company would be mad not to jump on the opportunity and have this regular source of revenues coming into their accounts. I mean, let's face it, today the politicians, they have absolutely no project for you, nor for any citizens of the people. No, they obey by the advisors which are putting them under pressure so that they pass all those laws that we have to live in, all those constitutional regulations and laws that are defining our way to strive and blossom into the world we live in. I mean, politicians have no say, but for Donald John Trump eventually, about what the direction the nation is taking. It's crazy, but it is just a fact. And when the state delegates, up to the collecting of the taxes from the people, and of course, those private companies, they make huge margins, they make huge profits out of something which is required by law. Man, when you have 110, 120,000 pages of state regulations, of laws, do you think it serves the people? No. It is there solely to serve special interest, mostly financial interest, on a permanent basis. And don't be surprised, don't be surprised. It's been complexified by design. And the purpose is to make you believe that you are into a society which rules are engraved in marble and that you're never going to be able to change anything, which is a gross lie again. And if you believe this, it's a gross mistake from your part, because the only constant in the universe is change. And you must use change as your ally. You must, it is not change which is painful. It is the resistance to change. And change's got to become your ally, your friend again, the driver of our evolution. So the politicians, they allocate those contractual mandates to private companies. And all the people which are around me at the moment, well, I hope the sound is not too bad, sorry about that. But I'm at the AGF, look at that. IGF, I'm awfully sorry. Swiss Internet Governance Forum. And all the people, for most, 90% of the people, are either directly employed by the state in the service of those private companies to which they allocate mandates. It's crazy. And one of my colleagues here in front of me was saying, Pascal, is there a point trying to bring back people to the foundations of the dysfunctionality of our democracy when they depend on it to put bread and butter on the table? Well, of course not. No, they only and solely defend their interest, what pays for their quality of life. And you cannot blame them for that. They don't even, if I try today, okay, I took the microphone a few times in order to explain a few things. And I've received very kind messages from those who have seen my interventions. Fact of the matter is, they understand nothing of what I'm saying. Why? Because I'm talking about rewriting the constitutions, rewriting the legal framework so that it serves our kids. It serves the people, the citizens. They're not interested by that. And by the way, the advisors of the politicians, they're not interested by that neither. They solely work to defend the revenue streams that they live on. And again, don't blame them for that. Don't blame them for that. No. If you were probably in a similar position, you would do exactly the same. I'm afraid to say. I'm afraid to say. Nevertheless, they're talking about digital sovereignty. Digital sovereignty. But the digital sovereignty of whom? Of the people? Of the citizens? Or of the states? Of the structures which are directly benefiting from, the complete, how should I call it? The complete mastering and the complete control that they have over everything. It's crazy. So if I get there and explain that those rules need to be changed, the constitutions are to be rewritten, my goal, my purpose is so far away from what they grasp, from what they can understand eventually, that it's a lost cause. No, it will have to come from the people. And I hate speaking those words. Let's face it, I'm a Swiss citizen. I was the beneficiary of a direct democracy. A democracy in which you can create a referendum in order to organize votations and elections so that the people decide. But nowadays, the people don't decide anything. And if you look at the electronic idea for which Swiss people have just voted, can you explain to me, please, how is it that the Swiss people, and many other countries, by the way, will be voting for a lesser degree of freedom tomorrow but what they have today? How is it possible that people are voting for less freedom than they had yesterday. I mean, in Switzerland, every major media player is being solicited. You have people like Ringier, like Tamedia. It's not going to ring a bell to you, but they control like 80, 90% of the medias here in Switzerland. And they've been allocating against constitutional rule within the 4 days before election. They've been allocating hundreds of thousands, literally millions, in order to influence public opinion. When everyone knows that even from the election of the President of the United States, like 30 to 40% of the voting decision happens to be within the 4 days before the election. And man, here in Switzerland, you have people like Swisscom, the main telephone player. It's not telephone player. How do you say? The main guy, selling telephone services. You have people like Swiss Digital, like Economie Suisse, as in Swiss economy. All major players which have as partners Microsoft, Google, Palantir, McKinsey, and all the others, they are all hand in hand. They don't defend the citizens, they defend their own agenda, i.e. making money. And I'm not a conspirationist, no, but there is a conspiration for making more money. And that's all what it comes down to. So, digital sovereignty, but for whom? Not for the people. Only for those who can hide their activities, to hide their profits, hide whatever they do. And again, I see some very good people here, people which are utmostly clever, and at the bottom of their hearts, I'm certain that they aim well for Switzerland. And, I just want to suggest a better model. And let's face it, they're trying to basically fool me out of speaking about technical issues and this and that and that, when the only way is to give back the people what I call a third-party oversight principle, so that the people can judge by themselves. It's basically what Elon Musk was saying. Elon Musk was saying what? He was saying, F them, I will provide all the information to the world and Earth will tell. Earth meaning all the people, all the citizens, the population will have access through a third-party oversight principle to everything that I have to give them, and they will decide. That's the only way. You need to instigate a third-party oversight principle on every financial transaction that goes out of the state to whichever private company. If you do that, people cannot hide anymore. And, dissimulation is the greatest incentive to crime. And it works for the people, it works for the government, it works for each and every institution. So we must give back the people this third-party oversight principle that will make people accountable. Because if you know that each and every transaction of your own company is available to the public can judge who are the partners, who are the influencers, who is actually holding the rein. Man, you'll know immediately who are the good boys and the bad boys. That's a fact of life. So, and this is what we're aiming for. So, one of my colleagues was saying, Pascal, you should speak English here. And this is why I'm doing this live in English. But more than that, he was saying to me, you are talking to people which probably should understand what you're saying, because let's face it, for a fact, it's understandable by a 7-year-old kid. Fact of the matter is, the people which are here, they defend the opposite position but yours, which is to give back the democracies to the only sovereign, the people. And those guys ain't motivated by your agenda. They can hardly understand it because you are so far away from what they do on a day-to-day basis. So anyway, have I forgotten anything? Probably. Yeah, by the way, I'm in Bern and I'm in Bern at Welle 7. So if you are in Bern, please come to me. Let's have a talk. I'll probably be here until 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. Don't hesitate. Just a very last example. I have Mr. Daniel Graf, who's the owner through his foundation. I can't remember the name of the foundation. I think it's a foundation for direct democracy in Switzerland, but he holds the domain name democracy.ch, no less. And this gentleman, I would love to talk to him. I've seen him a few minutes ago, but was not able to directly speak with him. But the guy holds this, and he was, of course, totally against the digital identity like 3 years ago when the Swiss people said, no way, with something like 60, 65% of the population voting no. And because his foundation was close to bankruptcy, I guess. He has received huge funding, and he made a kind of coming out, saying that now he's completely in agreement with digital idea when it has not changed by an inch. Not by an inch. Of course, they fancy dressing it with all kind of concept and explaining why is it so complicated, which is complete BS. It's exactly the same thing. Now, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I would wish to be able to speak with those people, which are, I'm certain, very clever, and convince them of a superior model, which will give them back their dignity, their meaning of life in the service of the people that they are meant to defend. This is, by the way, what you find in my book titled 2024, which you will find on Amazon, of course, in English and in French. I write in both languages. So have a check. Your agenda is there. Your agenda is there without taking any risk, nor for yourself, nor for your people, nor for your community, nor for your family, and will restore the strength of democracies in your service, you the citizen, you the people, only producer of real wealth at a state level. May I thank you for your kind and benevolent attention. May peace be with you and all the citizens of the world. Peace out.